I want you and that young man to tie that knot. I'm gonna pray for you. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand, because he helped Joshua fight the battle of Jericho. Yes.
It's the old
He helped Daniel get out the lion's den. He helped Kirk get off the island.
Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to the children? Why you lying to the children? RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I've been to bed. Man, they know contest. Yahuwah, he do the blitz. We will not see you tomorrow. Cause you cannot go to Thora. All the sons and all the daughters standing all with big manotas. But my son, he made me Taurus. On that line, I'm still a Taurus. Karate kicking Chuck Norris, 4-5 on my waist. If he started, would not hesitate to get retarded. Oh lordy, he ain't got a PowerPoint, he farted. He thrown into the hills like a Philistine. G-Hawk hitting Hamites with the guillotine. Situation turned up with the Ratchet team. JJ 7000 to the debate lead. I know them haters gon' hate me, but he won't debate me. Pistol off safety. He respond, come wake me. If I don't get up, nigga shake me. If he don't show up, then he fake G. I touch down and make these nigga nuts hate me. Dear brother, ballin' and crawling all the way from H-time. Let me get straight to the business. Man, them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children? You gon' cry, you gon' get it. Me, I'm like a frog, nigga, ribbit. Of course, it's in the spirit. I just got the Porsche, she can steer it. Mito got the raw, Shaq and Willie. Lamborghini doors, you better not spill it. Mama's high, say I'm more than just a villain. Mama's cry, I'm dope and wide for her children. Suicide, immortalized as the realest, Death by Kirk, black suicide. Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children? RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I've been there. Man, they know contest. Yahuwah, he get Why didn't take it over? Number one debate league, you heard me? When it's up, it's stuck. I'm setting on everything, nigga. Metaphorically, of course.
Well, all right. Once again, putting it down for you and yours. We are now, how you say, in the stratosphere with another episode of The Lion's Den. This is the segment called The Conversation Continues, talking about what's on your mind. Now, normally we be through the hard way, and that would be JT Raw, Yeshai Dar, myself, Brother Malachi, Big Baby Hebrew, along with the seventh answer, Lady Karima. But you're going to be rolling with the two of us tonight. You're rolling two the hard way, but still, it ain't nothing, the energy's not going to change. You still getting hit with Virgo energy. That's right, Virgo energy. And that is, we are analytical, critical, political, and we strive never to be hypocritical. And as always, we give honor to the Lord in Christ, from whom all positive thoughts flow. And you know that when you come here in the Lion's Den, we're going to hit you with the 7 eyes. That's right. You know what they are: independence, integrity, inspiration, influence, intelligence, insight, and stone cold information, which all leads into the facts. That's what we bring. FACTS, the frequently accurate, correct truths. Also, when you roll with us, you're rolling with the pride. That's PRIDE. We are permanently ready and destroying evil, starting with our own. And you know, of course, that we are one faction of the anti-coon movement. And what's a coon? A COON. A complete, obvious, obedient, yes, a boss nigga. We don't do that here. There's no coons on this show ever. All right? And sometimes we may not see eye to eye. So what makes the Lions Den so unique? It is also the home of Point Counterpoint, better known as Debate, the Debate League. Okay? And please be advised that when you deal with us, we also come in the spirit of what? Isaiah 41:21. Because we're going to always be ready, willing, and able to produce our cause. And in 1 Thessalonians 5:21, we're going to always be ready, willing, and able to prove all things. Why? Because the Lion's Den is the premier truth, reality, social media platform. Don't get it twisted. Oh, there are a whole lot of other voices out there, and we give them homage and we give them respect. But no one does it like we do it. We give you a variety, all right? Which now, I'm going to conclude by saying, before we get started, if you happen to be someone out there that can't handle the truth, you can't face the truth, well, normally, no, I won't say normally. Let me take that back. JT Raw, the seventh answer, Lady Karima, and myself, if you can't handle the truth, we'll give you our deepest sympathies and empathies, because we ain't gonna compromise it for nobody. So you're more than welcome to move, motivate, and relocate if you can't handle what you about to hear tonight. All right? And last but not least, in the formalities and the formula which makes up the Lion's Den, the conversation continues. We want you to observe one of the final house rules as set forth by one of our other lionesses out there, I Am Manner. And that is, you come in here and you wipe your feet, you mind your manners, conduct yourself in an orderly manner, and enjoy yourself. Because if you get out of pocket at any given time, the lioness, the seventh answer, she will kick you up out of here. Because see, what we not going to be a rude host, and we damn sure not going to respect anyone coming up in here trying to be a rude guest if we allow someone to come up here and want to talk to us. So with all that out the way, all right, normally I would be giving the pass to JT Raw, but Captain Yeshai Dodds out on other business, and he may join us later on. But in the meantime, the seventh answer has given me clearance for takeoff. So we're about to take off. And okay, seventh answer, do me a solid. Cause I see the title has changed a little bit and everything else. Give us what we getting ready to go into real quick, please. Well, all right, timing is everything, so I'll take it over. Charlie,
no,
I see.
no, it's in there, it's added in there. I just pretty much
But was it Charlie Kirk?
We're gonna be speak on Charlie Kirk.
But right, but was it the troubling echoes of Charlie Kirk?
Definitely.
All right, so we're gonna roll with the troubling echoes of Charlie Kirk. Now, y'all, if you haven't been living under a rock and you've been paying attention to what's going on out here, okay, the news has been awash with the assassination of Mr. Charles Kirk. Okay, now there seems to be a lot of people out here with ruffled feathers in white America in particular who feel some kind of way about black folks and specifically, because you know how it always go, y'all. There's always that segment of white America that somehow blames us for everything. They're in their feelings right about now about how a lot of black Americans, foundational black Americans to be exact, that we're not mourning, that we're not giving sympathy and empathy to the passing or the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And my question would be, why should we? Now, hold up. Let me make this clear. We don't celebrate anyone being cut down because of their points of views and opinions. But see, what we're not going to pretend and act like we don't understand is that sometimes when your mouth is out here saying things you ought not to say, you might put yourself in the lines to get your ass beat. Now, you know what? Normally, I always try to remain from being colorful, but on this today, I'm gonna cut loose. So, but I'll be mindful if you have children, if there are children listening, depending on what time frame you may be in. Where I'm at, it's about to be 9 o'clock. So normally I would think your kids will be asleep because we're back in school again. But some of y'all, I forget you're in different time zones, so it may be 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock where you're at, okay, or 2 o'clock. So I'll be mindful. But if you have as an adult, virgin is, I will ask you to excuse me in advance because you may hear a couple of colorful words along the way. All right. Or maybe they're dietary, or I might curse Ned Flanders style. But anyway, let's get it in. Hey, yo, first off, to anybody out there who feels some kind of way about Black Americans not showing sympathy for Charlie Kirk, first off, let's get one thing clear. We don't have to. This man has had nothing but evil and vicious things to say throughout the years regarding Black people. Every racial bigoted stereotype you can think of, this bastard had the audacity night and day to use them under the preamble of freedom of speech. But see, first of all, let's get one thing clear, because this freedom of speech thing has been really, really, really misconstrued. First off, it's freedom of speech, but responsible speech. See, yeah, we've been all given the God-given right to free speech. But the number one rule and principle the Lord set in place, set in motion, in regards to being able to speak freely, is think before you speak. You best be giving careful consideration of what you say before you say, because see, there's also a provision that's not hardly pushed even in the Constitution of the United States of America, but in the Bible it's pushed. The Lord said that he that keepeth his mouth, or he or she that keepeth their mouth, keepeth their life. Meaning what? That if you think before you speak and you say the right thing at all times, 9 times out of 10, you can walk away from getting yourself hurt. But see, if you say something that shouldn't be said, if you speak abusively, see the abuse of language, and you say something you ought not to say, you might just get yourself lined up to get the knuckle sandwiches with a can of Chuckamuck Punch to wash it down. So freedom of speech, but responsible speech. And Charlie Kirk was as irresponsible as all hell in his bigoted, racist tirades that you could always hear. When it came down to the issue of, let's say, Black women and Black men and their relationships, excuse me, he always ran with, well, a lot of Black women are single parents and the home, and Black men leave their Black women oftentimes, and kids, these young kids who are ruffians and thugs and everything else are raised in single parent households. All right, there is some validity to that. But you know what Charles or Charlie Kirk never paid attention to? Those same findings by many social institutions out here also chronicle how white men leave their women and leave their children. Or how about this? You know what, Charlie Kirk, one time on his podcast, and he blocked me. I asked Charlie Kirk, I said, well, okay, Charles, dig. You always talking about black women, single households, and the criminality of black youth raised in single homes. I said, well, explain to me why come you have all these mass school shooters and bombers, white boys, raised in two-parent homes, going out here bombing and killing and fucking up everything they can touch. How about that, Charles? You know he blocked me, right? Now I told you you might hear some colorful language, which is usually uncharacteristic of me, but this got me. Well, I'm a little pissed. No, I'm beyond pissed right about now. Cause see, let me just say this to you. How dare any of you white, racist, freaking MAGA, whatever, try to come at black folk because we not jumping like you say we should be jumping. And more Charlie Kirk for what? Charlie Kirk is the same dude who said that, oh, well, he's for public executions. Reinstating and reinstituting public executions. But you know who he was always insinuating that about? The main people that he could see himself being publicly executed, you know? That's right, black folks. This is what was always coming out of Charlie Kirk's mouth. But you know what, Charles Kirk, he couldn't answer the question when I asked him, how come all these white boys coming up out of two-family homes, mommy and daddy, are out here shooting and blowing up and killing the Dylan roofs and everybody shooting and killing up everything moving? Well, he couldn't answer that question. And his administrator, if not him directly, his administrators blocked me real quick. Oh, his block game was strong when he saw you had good sense. This is the same Charles Kirk who would run, oh, well, here it is. The number one lie being told was, oh, no, I can't. Let me take that back. It's not one of the number one lies. It's one of the many lies, though, that's being heavily pushed. And there are a lot of people out here, including coons, who believe this ridiculous notion that black people make up 13% of the population of America, but commit the preponderance and the overwhelming majority of the crimes in America. And that is a bold-faced lie. Because you know what? When Charlie Kirk was asked, where do you get that statistic from? You know what this bitch said? He said, and I quote, oh, well, I get it from independent sources. Well, ladies and gentlemen who are listening to the Lion's Den, allow us to take you to credible and official sources, most notably the United States Bureau of Crime and Statistics, compiled by the FBI, because believe it or not, there are times when the FBI and CIA, they do tell the truth. But see, if you don't go reading, and you know what they say, if you want to hide something from a Negro, putting in a book. Well, we read here, and and we all have our different talents. So let's go to the United States Bureau of Crime and Statistics, a credible source, because it's compiled by the FBI, CIA, and other law enforcement agencies, which, when you go into the different categories of criminality in America and who commits it, guess what you're going to find, ladies and gentlemen? you're going to find that when it comes down to white, Asian, East Indian, and every other nationality you can think of, and their criminality, oh, it is through the roof. It is absolutely through the roof, but somehow you have Charlie Kirk and his racist, bigoted KKK and MAGA creeps telling us that, well, black people commit the most crime. No, let me tell you the trick bag on where that comes from. When it comes down to the area of punishment, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's right, black folk, male and female, we get punished and convicted more than our white counterparts. And that's right, see, they sometimes get sweetheart deals and slaps on the wrist. And when they do that, okay, that is overlooked. But see, because of when it comes down to black people and our rates of conviction being higher in the area of punishment of crimes, Charlie Kirk and his crew and all these other racist, bigoted vagabonds, they run with that particular, how you say, item. And next thing you know, black folks commit the most crime. And then they come up with the independent. Let me name one of the independent sources that Charlie Kirk gets his bullshit from, or got his bullshit from. All right, you had there's an institution known as the Federalist League. The Federalist League, based out of New York. Okay. Funded by some very interesting, high-powered billionaires, racist, bigoted billionaires. Okay? I won't give it in there. I want you to go look this up for yourself. The Federalist League. That's one of them. Besides his Turning Point USA. Okay? And their make-believe garbage. Now, for those of you tuning in, normally, I always try to refrain, but right about now, I can't refrain myself because I'm overwhelmed with anger. Because here it is, somehow, in some way, through media manipulation, mind control, which we're gonna delve into that deeper too. Somehow, black people are to blame for Charlie Kirk getting smoked. Here it is, Tyler Robinson, the supposed lone gunman, the supposed trigger man, MAGA member, staunch Republican along with his whole family. Tyler Robinson somehow was able to be sophisticated enough at 22 years of age to gain a spot and shoot Charlie Kirk within about a 220 meter range. A 22-year-old was able to subvert and get around all the security that was in the immediate area. He was seen climbing the roof, almost identical to what happened to your president, Donald J. Trump. And in the midst of Charlie Kirk commencing to give a speech on mass shootings, and the last words that would come out of his mouth, oh, are you talking about gang violence? And we heard the shot, then we saw him grab his neck and him keel over. Now, of course, I'm not into celebrating anyone catching a bad one. But what I'm not about to do is have no one telling me or anybody within my circle how we should mourn. We don't have to mourn Charlie Kirk and his racist, bigoted ass. Oh, well, he was like the MLK, Martin Luther King. See, that's where, look, it's bad enough we have some black folks that are attacking Martin Luther King and his legacy. I know that no one who walks this earth is a patron saint. But I do have a problem with people coming for Martin Luther King and he long dead. Okay, he can't defend himself. See, one thing that you've noticed about the Lions Den, when myself, JT Raw, when we've come for anybody and we've name dropped throughout the years, one thing that we pride ourselves on is this. Everybody that we've been coming for and name dropping on, they're alive still. See, if we lying on them, they could come here on the Lions Den. Because Karima, one thing about the Lions Den, there's no respect of persons. And let's say if I was lying, JT lying, let's say we're mistaken, but most of if we're lying on anyone, they can come here and defend themselves. See, the attack on Martin Luther King that I'm hearing lately, it bothers me only because all this is coming when he's dead. But getting back on the fact that now you got among white people, MAGA, the goddamn Turning Point USA, Candace goddamn Owens, they all trying to talk about Charlie Kirk. Oh, he was an advocate of free speech and he stood for like Martin Luther King. Did anybody ever hear what Charlie Kirk expressed about how he felt about Martin Luther King? Did Candace Owens, did any of these morons miss where Charlie Kirk was saying he hated the civil rights movement? That we not only didn't deserve civil rights, you might well say we didn't deserve human rights. Black folks didn't deserve human rights. Did you miss what Charlie Kirk was saying? Well, I don't know why Martin Luther King got a federal holiday in the first place. What did he do that was so great? And now I hear people trying to say that Charlie Kirk put him on the same level as Martin Luther King. Malcolm, this is not me exaggerating. Malcolm X, yeah. Black men who spoke words of justice. Black men who spoke issues in their time that everything they said could be proven. Now we have some MAGA, some media outlet out here through surreptitious mind control. If you're dumb enough to allow them to do this to you, trying to shoehorn Charlie Kirk's racist, bigoted, anti-Martin Luther King ass as being on the same levels of Martin Luther King. Hey, yo, in the immortal words of Jack Nicholson, when he was the Joker, this country needs an enema. Are you serious? Or in the immortal words of the late, great Kevin Samuels, you can't make this shit up. Are you serious right now? And now, all the HBCUs, black colleges now are on hiatus. They're shutting down because the climate in America, despite the fact that Tyler Robinson, a lone white boy, 22 years of age, possible trans, okay, from the looks of other pictures I've seen of him, MAGA, Republican, white, killed him, killed Charlie Kirk, but black people are to blame. Somehow we get blamed because there are people out here who are mad because some of you out there, you're celebrating his death. But wait a minute. Quick question. What about all these videos where I'm seeing various white people, and believe me, I'm on the net. I'm doing my lady, the seventh answer, Lady Karima, JT Raw, we do our studying, we do our research, and I'm seeing all these videos of many white people dancing in the streets, chanting all kinds of incendiary and crazy lyrics to made up songs about Charlie Kirk getting what he deserved. I mean, straight celebrating. But the MAGA boys, the racist people out there, you only see the black folks, and here it is, because we ain't crying. It doesn't matter what he said. He was a great person. What? Because we're not giving it up like Officer Brandon Tatum? Yeah, I'm a name drop. Oh, this, bro, you need to stop. I wish you'd stop, Officer Tatum. You're a goddamn disgrace to black men. Yo, Stephen from Django ass, you are ridiculous. Right along with this Stephen A. Smith. Yo, Stephen A. Smith, yo, bro, come on, man. I know you got to get them butter biscuits, my boy. But you do realize that when Charlie Kirk looked at your dumb ass, right, he would say you got your spot because of DEI. He would say that you took some white man's slot. But you gonna get up here, as always, and try to castigate black folks on how they should feel or what they shouldn't be saying. Bro, Stephen, stop. And Jason Whitlock or Jason Whitless, bruh, check this out. You need to give it up. First of all, you're not smart enough. You're not sophisticated enough where any major network is going to give you a job. So stop. Just stop. The cooning is embarrassing, man. It's 2025. And yet some of y'all out here, some of you brothers, man, you giving it up like goddamn Fiddler and Chicken George and all the other dancing sambos. It's a disgrace that you are even considered a black man. The Anton yo, bro, you too, dude. You too. And with them thick ass bifocals you wearing, now okay, some of y'all might wear glasses. I don't mean to offend you, but this dude, man, with all the medicine you got in them glasses, Anton Daniels, you should be seeing like Buzz Lightyear to infinity and beyond. But you get up here with your coon ass and want to try and take black people to task about not mourning Charlie Kirk, or you feel some kind of way that you got some black men and women actually celebrating his death. Yo, why don't you go check Turning Point USA and all the garbage they've been saying about black folks? No, that's right. Wait. That's right. You're not black American, so you've been saying some shit out your face, Anton Daniels. See, I'm name dropping. I want y'all to go and check out these skunks among our people. As you can see, I'm on Raw. I'm JT Raw tonight. He ain't here, but I'm going to talk Raw. And for some of y'all out there, I'm going to ask you to forgive me on this one. But there's sometimes being proper in the face of dangerous, silly Negroes among us the Coon Brigade trying to get at us. When here it is, you have, did anyone listen to Charlie Kirk's wife? Did anyone hear her speech? Now, normally I want to try to use some of these, use cuts and use some of their material, but because with the climate we're in right now, even if we do the fair use thing, they're gonna try to find some way. They would probably try to find some way to cut us off and pull the show anyway. So we don't want to give them anything. What's her name? Is her name Erica Kirk? I think it is. All right, yo. Did anyone hear her speech? Did anyone hear what she was saying? Which was a lot of it being clearly coded language. For those of you who murdered my husband, you have no idea what you unleashed. For those of you out there, you know what you have to do. Come join Turning Point USA. Charlie would want that. I love you, baby. Man, not a tear coming from her eye with her sorry acting ass. But the words and the incendiary language she was using. And instead of her getting up there saying, and to all my Turning Point USA members and anyone who's out there feeling some kind of way about HBCUs, and don't target black people, because it was a lone white boy, Tyler Robinson, according to the official narrative. That's if you believe that official narrative. This 22-year-old young white boy, Tyler Robinson, gunned down her husband. But she's not trying to diffuse all this angry white men that I'm seeing. It takes me back to the 1993 or 1994 cult classic starring Michael Douglas and Robert Duvall, Falling Down. You know, you had this Michael Douglas, I forget his character's name, but long story short, it dealt with him having a serious meltdown and his racist diatribe and blaming everything and everyone but himself about his miserable life and miserable wife and whatever else he had going on, which was just a metaphor of how white people feel about they're losing their power. And now you have all these white men, I'm hearing, white men fight back, white men fight back, white men. Fight what, man? Fight who? Fight what? What? All them white people out here that shooting and killing and gunning down unarmed citizens here in America? Is that who you're gonna fight back? You know, because I'm paying attention, and to Donald J. Trump, Elon Musk. Since I know y'all listen to this broadcast on the low, we know you're listening. How about this, right? In these last 3.5 weeks, since you, Donald J. Trump, want to start implementing the usage of the National Guard to go into black neighborhoods to help fight crime. See, the Lord, the good Lord, hold on. Excuse me, y'all. But the good Lord, he always makes it where whenever people scheme and plot against we, his children of Israel, he always makes it where that trap that you plot for us always backfires on you. And in the 3.5 weeks, President Trump, that you have been sending troops into black neighborhoods to help fight crime. No, not money, not reparations, not better funding for schools. No, troops, military. in these last 3.5 weeks, okay, I know that I said it, I've said it about 3 times already, right? That's my inner Umar Johnson. Has anyone noticed that all the crime, all the mass shootings, all the individual shootings, and everything else popping off have been all young, angry, out of control white men? Or is it just my imagination? I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Break it down. How come I don't hear you, Donald J. Trump, J.D. Vance, the vice president, or should I say, actually, President Elon Musk and Vice President Bill Gates? How come I don't hear all that you're going to go dropping troops off and National Guard off in white neighborhoods? How come I don't hear that now? How come I don't hear none of that? And all the crime, all the criminality, all the violence that we've been seeing culminating in your man's Charlie Kirk getting pop mopped and dropped. I don't hear none of that troop talk now. So Seventh Dance, I see you just popped up a video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a quick break, y'all, and let this video run. You're now tuning into the Lions Den. The conversation continues. Take it away, Seventh Dance. It's on you.
Okay, I live when I believe. No. What do? I get dirty every single year. I'm like, I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Because of DEI, it begs the question when you see a black pilot, you wonder, you say, I hope they are qualified. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action? It almost creates thought patterns that are not necessarily, no one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a capitalist every single day.
Says something in your body. Yeah, what?
The material, put it like this, the material using my body is stabbed like.
Hey, Seventh Dance, stop for a second. Stop.
Yeah.
Hey,
like a capitalist every single day.
Hey. Stop it 1 second. Stop 1 second, Seventh Dance. Listen up, y'all. Now, what we are segueing to right now, because see, we've been hearing about this young man, Kwame Brown, the guy who stabbed the young Irina Zarutska on the train in North Carolina. They've been running with that, but now we're going to go into the whole issue of mind control and psychological operations. That maybe what you think you're seeing is not exactly what you're seeing. So run it, Kareem, and listen carefully, y'all. Listen carefully.
And we also, because I'm gonna play that, but I'm also play clippings of how they're being a hypocrite, because there's white people that's actually been unalive a black woman not too long ago, but they're not really talking about that. So I'm gonna play that, and I'm gonna play different clippings of how it's mass cases of white people unaliving sisters, and they ain't talking about that. So I'm gonna play that, but then I'm gonna play the mind control after that too. But I want to play both of these clips. So
all right, Seventh Dance, go to work.
Something in your body. Yeah, what?
The material, put it like this, the material using my body is stabbed like.
And so she just got stabbed.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm talking about just for no reason. But since they did that, now they gotta investigate the material my body is supposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they gotta investigate.
She's from the Ukraine. She's from Russia, and they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States. So I'm just trying to understand, out of all people, why her?
It ain't. I don't have nothing. They just laugh.
So you said something in your body did what?
Nah, the material, put it like this, the material using my body is stabbed like.
And so she just got stabbed.
Yeah. You know that's not me. I'm talking about just for no reason. But since they did that, now they gotta investigate the material in my body exposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they gotta investigate.
Karima, stop it for a second, Seventh Answer. Seventh Answer, stop it. Now listen, everybody I want y'all to pay attention. What you're listening to is a 911 audio call of the young man who stabbed the young woman. I want y'all to pay attention. He was a well-known psychiatric patient who had no business being released into the general public in the first place. But now, whenever it comes down to black people and their mental illness and their issues, that goes ignored. But what you're listening to is him talking about they. He keeps saying they. They've been experimenting with me and they put materials in my body and they are now compelling me to attack.
This is an audio phone call that he was having with his sister. His sister is secretly recording him. This is a audio.
Thank you for correcting me. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Notice he say they, and then old girl's wife say they. So pay attention to words.
She's from Ukraine. She's from Russia.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, like I said, when we do this show, when we make claims, if I can't prove it, Seventh Answer can prove it. And if Seventh Answer can't prove it, Yeshaya, we make it happen here. But Seventh Answer, I gotta give credit where credit is due. She way better than JT and myself put together. And I got no problem saying it. There's always someone more talented, and you got to give them their kudos. And I'm glad we got her on our side. Hey, yo, but as you can see, we proving it. And listen, for all y'all out there who might know some of our regular viewers, man, go let them know that we on the air, just in case their notification might have been turned off, because they doing that nowadays. But anyway, take it away, Seventh Answer. Go.
Russia. And they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States. So I'm just trying to understand, out of all people, why her?
It ain't. I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. That's what happened. They lashed out on her. Whoever was working the material, they
said something in your body.
Helping this evening, we've now learned the man who police say shot and killed 3 people in Mount Washington this past weekend has also now died. So 2 of the victims were sisters. WLWT News 5's anchor Chris Jacobs here now with the update. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hey, Cherie. So that suspected gunman was...
First of all, my condolences to Irina Zarutsky, the young lady that was killed on the train track. Unprovoked, brutal. It was sad, but it wasn't the first time that this happened. We actually had a killing of a young lady named Nia Wilson that was killed by a white man in Oakland, California at a train station and was stabbed to death in 2018. Donald Trump was the president at that time as well. The difference is he didn't hold a picture of Nia Wilson up like he held the picture of Irina up. There was no press conferences. There were no condemnations of the murderer. None of that happened. It's just apparent to me that this administration only gets involved when there's a white woman that's killed. Black women's lives don't seem to matter as much to this administration, and that's sad.
They let my cousin grow. That was my cousin. She didn't do nothing to nobody. Period. She didn't deserve that at all. A white racist man did that, and we need justice. She was a loving person. She was a good person. 18 years old, slit her throat on a block for no reason.
hate in the mind because of the color of another race. It's just raw emotions to ever imagine that type of hate exists here in Oakland.
We're gonna talk about black girls and black women and black babies and black girls.
Inadequacy of our institutions, the inadequacy of our government. I feel an inadequacy as a man wasn't able to protect this sister.
Oh, shit, okay?
This is heartbreaking. I have daughters. Our kids should be able to go anywhere on this earth, anywhere, and be safe.
To be here all the way from.
So while y'all sitting here worrying about
I ain't worried about the same.
We've now learned the man who police say shot and killed 3 people in Mount Washington this past weekend has also now died. So 2 of the victims were sisters. WLWT News 5's anchor Chris Jacobs here now with the update. Hi, Chris.
Yeah, hey, Cherie. So that suspected gunman was identified by police as 26-year-old Samuel Erickson. They say he killed himself after he shot 3 others.
Oh, Pharaoh, double standards. You stand yours and I'ma stand mine. Double standards.
Notice black women going for white men. They don't take all them weaves with them. They don't take all them lashes with them. They don't take all that makeup with them. They don't take that obesity with them. They don't do none of all of that deep voice, haughty, I'm gonna get in your face, cuss you out, boy, you better. They don't bring none of that.
Yeah, see, what we're showing and proving, right, is that you better give careful consideration of what it is you're watching out here. That what you're seeing today may indeed be some diabolical, devious mind control and people out here unleashed on the public, unsuspecting, deliberately sent out here to hurt the general public. If you're just tuning in, this is the Lion's Den. This is the conversation continues. I'm Brother Malakaya, Big Baby Hebrew, along with the seventh answer, Lady Karima. You know, we're rolling to the hallway tonight. As Captain Yeshai Dar is on hiatus for the time being. He'll be back though. But real talk, what we're showing is that when we make the statements and claims that we make, though we might have our algorithm being interfered here and there, we're still within the confines of the Federal Communications Commission. And that we are showing and proving these are all reality, not racist, made up, anti-white, or anti-anyone accusations that we, or claims that we make. These are sourced, proven events that have happened or in the process of happening right now as we speak. And all we're showing, right, is nonstop what we as black folk, what we're up against. Now I'm gonna say this here, right? They say that art imitates life. The video, the secret phone call involving the young black man who stabbed Irina Zaruska. You heard him telling the sister, and she recorded the phone call. They put something in my body. Then you had John Lee Cowell, when he stabbed Neil Wilson back in 2018. He claimed that he was programmed and sent to attack random black girls. He made that claim. And you could see in his eyes, he was gone with the wind. And what does he have in common with the young man who stabbed Irina Zaruska? A known mental patient. The young man who killed the 3 Ethiopian immigrants. A known mental patient. Ladies and gentlemen, are y'all seeing the pattern? Are you seeing the pattern? Okay? But the major pattern being young white men who are deranged, out of their minds, seemingly, or they're the results of possible mind control. See, this has been talked about for a very long time. But over the last 25 to 30 years, we're starting to see a lot of things materialize. How about Eric Holder, the young man who killed Nipsey Hussle? Do you remember when he blurted out in court, I was paid $75,000 to kill Nipsey Hussle? The federal government paid me. You probably don't remember that, but I do. And that's why we come here, we talk about it. See, we're showing you that there are a lot of psychological operations being pulled right in front of our face to what? Bring in a bigger and stronger agenda. This killing of Charlie Kirk, see, it's twofold, right? Now, we just showed you earlier on all the outrageous things Charlie Kirk has been saying throughout his career, right? And you got factions of white America now mad at black people because we are not mourning him. We are not embracing him in the whole issue of free speech. No, we're not. Because everything he said was lies. I don't respect that kind of free speech. That's abuse of speech. You know, see, hey, I wonder how they would feel right now if I said, hey, let's be careful, y'all. Because what if Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk? What if the bullet that supposedly was fired by Tyler Robinson didn't kill Charlie Kirk? But what if it was some fentanyl already in Charlie Kirk's system? What if it was some kind of methamphetamine or whatever in his system that killed him? That would be absolutely abysmally irresponsible, right? But yet this is the same shit that Charlie Kirk let come out of his face when we all watched Derek Chauvin with his damn knee on George Floyd's neck and 2 other police officers, if you want to call them that, holding George Floyd down while Derek Chauvin had his knee on his neck, suffocating that man, according to Charlie Kirk and the coroners. That it wasn't a knee on his neck that killed him. It wasn't him suffocating to death that killed him. It was some fentanyl in his system. This is the bullshit that Candace Owens, right along with Charlie Kirk and other, the Ben Shapiro and company at Turning Point USA, the Federalist Papers, and all these other racist rags let come out of their face. And I'm supposed to sit up here with other black Americans in particular and mourn Charlie Kirk because his right to free speech cost him his life? See, one more time. It's about freedom of speech, but responsible speech. Now, let me take a quick time out because, see, unlike other live streams where the moderator does all the talking and he or she don't even check out their live people in their live and in their comments talking. We actually read the comments. We want to see who's talking. Let's see what's going on. We're at that 1 hour mark. So let's see who's on deck with us right now. Smashing Idol. Okay, welcome. Salaya Ben Yah, welcome. Okay, TNBN, I see you in. Of course, Jay Snake the Great, welcome. Now, go get the others, get our regulars, because apparently they might be having they may have their notifications turned off and come on back. But still, let me see. Smashing Idol, you said, oh, but if we go and chant to fight back, it's a racial thing. Yeah, you know what? That's right, Smash. Of course, they would. Oh, every media outlet in the world would be running that right about now. Okay? You know they would. But white men fight back. But you got to ask yourself, who are they talking about? When I listened to Erica Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow, supposed widow, in her speech, talking about, well, come join Turning Point and avenge my husband's death. Do what Charlie would want you to do. Get them and they who murdered my. What do you mean they? Who's she talking about? See, now I'm gonna take it there. Now I'm gonna take it there. I'm gonna take it there even hardcore and welcome you all. Now, what exactly? We're gonna come back to the MK Ultra and mind control because see, like I said, there are a lot of Manchurian candidates, mentally ill, and very easily controlled people being put out here to do the dirty work of some clandestine elements. But now, in fairness, right? And because I'm able to see things bioptically, why exactly? Oh, who exactly? Now this is me. I'm gonna lead with I can't prove anything, but I just connect dots and coincidences that are just so coincidencing. It's funny how Charlie Kirk, despite being bigoted, being racist, as I noticed that as long as he came and banged on black people only, it wasn't no problem. It wasn't an issue. He was lauded, and like he's being lauded right now, as being a free speech warrior, and so on and so forth. But it just seems to me that all of a sudden, Charlie Kirk getting bodied, catching a bullet, catching a lead sleeping pill, it's kind of odd that it would come on the heels of when he started criticizing Israel. Uh-oh. I'm going there. I'm going to go there. Now, again, as long as Charlie Boy Turning Point USA was banging on us black folks, always talking about us, those dirty, lazy niggers, those moronic black women, as long as he was doing that, everything was okay. He was getting plenty of money, getting paid hand over fist. But then recently, Charlie Boy went way off script. And the next thing you're looking up, you got Charlie talking about Israel and its politics. He started talking about Big Mama Pharmaceutical, and he started getting at the Rainbow Mafia. The lettuce, bacon, tomato. The LB. Whatever that lettering is. The Rainbow Mafia. Oh, he was going in mob deep on them as well, but especially Israel. And just recently, it's rumored. I'm gonna say rumored because I don't have any direct proof myself, but it's been rumored that Israel was trying to finance Charlie Kirk and Turning Point. It's 9,000 chapters, alleged 9,000 chapters. That's a lot of chapters. That's a lot of work. But Charlie turned down their money. I know that he was given an invite by Benjamin Netanyahu to come to Israel, and he didn't want no parts of it. And as a matter of fact, wait. Who does Charlie Kirk work with? Who was he working with? Oh, that's right. Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro. He talks like this here, and he had that really, really nasally voice, and just sounds like a complete dweeb when he talks like this here now. That guy. And he every bit Israeli, right? And there was a recent interview they had, and Charlie Kirk was saying, well, Israel, how could they be the victims if they're the more heavily armed, the more heavily he started coming for Zionist Israel. Then he started pointing out the hypocrisies and the lies and the money grubbing of big pharmaceutical companies. Big pharma, the medical industry, putting out all these drugs, mind-altering drugs, body chemistry altering drugs. See, one thing about white folks is this here, y'all, the bigoted racists especially. See, as long as what you're doing to black folks or anybody else don't interfere with them, they cool with it. But when they start finding out, as this white guy, when he was getting beat up in the airport some years ago, you treated me like a black man. See, they know that what some of their fellow white brethren in police uniform and other law enforcement aspects are doing is dead wrong. They know it. They don't say anything about it. But now, Charlie boy, he was criticizing Israel, but he had ties to Benjamin Netanyahu, who, as a matter of fact, was recently asked, well, wait, did Israel have anything to do with Charlie Kirk being assassinated? And he was, oh, come on now. That's ridiculous. He was a good boy. Why would we want to kill him? But wait a minute, though. Charlie Kirk started getting criticized. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say this here. I didn't think it was going to be Charlie Kirk at first. I thought it was going to be Candace Owens when she started criticizing Israel. Remember when she went way off script? She got fired by Turning Point USA. She got booted out. Remember that? Okay. Then, of course, wait, I forgot. That's right. She was getting all kind of bad press. And then she hooked up with Kanye West, who been secretly, funneling her money. And then, of course, now Candace shut the fuck up. She shut the fuck up ever since. So I guess, the target, oh, wait, then again, she still is getting bad press. But Charlie, when he turned down the invitation to come to Israel, when he suddenly got, he got direct ties with Donald J. Trump, the president, who has direct ties to Israel and been supporting them ever since. And he since he backed off and blinked. But Charlie Kirk wasn't blinking. Charlie Kirk was recently even saying he's scared. But Charlie Kirk was going in on big pharmaceutical too. All right? And you know how that go. Let me spell it out for you like this here, right? All of a sudden, an assassin's bullet hit Charlie Kirk. Now I'm gonna say this is where I'll say, for the sake of argument, where Charlie Kirk may have some similarity or share some similarity to Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers. You know the names of and all Martin and so many other, you know, Huey Newton, Fred Hampton. Let's go back 65 years ago. What did all those men who were cut down by assassins' bullets all have in common? What got them murked? What got them put to sleep? Was it when they started messing with the big money machine, the big corporate machine? When they started interfering with the machine? See, as long as Malcolm and everyone else was just keeping local rallies, sure, the cops and the government, they hated them. They were a thorn in their side. But once Malcolm X had gotten the green light by the United Nations or the League of Nations out of Germany to go before the United Nations and take America to court and sue the American government, wow, Malcolm out of here. And especially when he hooked up with Fidel Castro, out of here. Martin Luther King. Oh, long as you can have your fish fry, your freedom rides, your sit-ins. They were a pain in that behind, and the whole interfering with the money machine as far as boycotting locally, that was a thorn in the government side. But as soon as Martin Luther King said no to Vietnam, and it's a money war, and when he planned to sue the United States government for $10 billion in reparations, that's right, bow, up out of here, gone. Medgar Evers, the same thing. Notice the pattern. As soon as these men started gaining national and international traction and were going to interfere with the money game, out of here. The Kennedy brothers, both John and Robert. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, Robert Francis Kennedy, both of them. As soon as they started making adjustments to make it fair for black folks or advocating and revealing the poor white people that were in this country, out of here, gone. Fred Hampton, same thing. Huey Newton, when it became well known that Huey Newton was planning to do a resurgence of the Black Panther Party, and he was being funneled money by Tupac Amaru Shakur, Fred Hampton, I'm sorry, what's his name again? Huey Newton, yeah. A drug addict came up, a drug dealer shot him because he owed him some money for drugs, out of here. And then some years later, Tupac, gone, out of here. That's right. See, let me spell it out. Oh yeah, Kobe Bryant.
Oh no, I want to say this real quick because
come on.
I don't believe it's about Israel because they already, like the world already know that they fake over there. That's just a stunt. They're not tripping off of them because even the fake Jews out there know that the world is against them and is waking up and knowing that they fake. I don't think it's about that. See, what the government do is use fear against you and use the people, use his fear against the other people because like people know that he been going after the LGBT, he been going after black, but that's just a cover up. You know, people quick to say, oh yeah, you know, blame them and all that type of stuff. But when he started coming after Trump himself, saying open up that file, that's when shit hit the fan. Okay.
Oh, hey yo, I forgot that.
Yeah, he told to investigate, open up the file. Now he got a followers, so when they get the, they're already shooting about open up this file. Now it's a lot of government officials that's in this file that they're trying to cover up. Okay, there's a lot of people that's running shit right now that they're really actually trying to cover up, and they don't want this file to be exposed. But when he got to talking about that not too long ago, open up that files and bring out every matter of fact, I'm gonna play the clip. But when he got to talking about that, that's what got his butt in, you know, this trouble. Cause
damn, Ayo, Karima, Ayo, 7th, you know, I forgot that.
They use racist and all that type of stuff. The government do that, you know what I mean? They use that type of tactic where, you know, he already got enemies, you know, he already got this. As soon as he speak about this, then you know, it's all a little plot and plan. But I'm about to play the video of him actually saying it himself. But I want to play this video too after a little later because it's a little long into the mind thing. But I'm gonna play the video where him saying it himself.
Okay, and while she's queuing it up, now you see how we work here? You see, each one teach one, reach one. That's a dot I didn't even consider, Karima. And you know what? So that means like, yo, like this other brother was saying, yo, so basically, Don, we could be dealing with a Stringer Bell and Avion situation. You know, if y'all watch The Wire, you know what I'm saying, you had Stringer, he had higher aspirations, but Avion kept getting in the way. If I think it was Avion, you know. But anyway, bottom line is Stringer double crossed him and the whole nine because he was in the way. And now, okay, go ahead, play it.
I think the DOJ should immediately move to unseal. I think the DOJ should immediately move to unseal all the Epstein documents in the Southern District of New York.
Yeah. Everything. Everything except child sexual assault material.
I think every file should be released to the public the same way as the JFK files. Let the American people decide. I think the DOJ should.
Oh, hey, yo, now hold up. We all know allegedly that the DJT, his name has been associated with the Epstein files. And now here it is. We got you on the team. We're hooking you up, Charlie boy. You're shaking our hands, and you gonna get up there and say some shit like this? I had no idea he actually said something like, oh, wow.
And he got a lot of followers. And the world already saying this. So, you know, to get him on the team, you know what I mean? Oh, no, we have to side Orion. We have to do something. We have to take him out. We have to shut him up.
Because how Benny Siegel said in that movie, because it's either you get down or you lay down. Oh, Charlie was playing some double dirty blood pool. Ah, damn, I had no idea. Wow. So as you can see, what am I trying to get at, y'all? Look, when you go messing with rich white men's money, they don't sing, they don't dance, they don't do freedom rides. They beat your ass. Or just straight kill you. It's just that simple. And now, here it is. You can't be up in here shaking people's hands. People, Well, obviously they're trying to buy you out. And he got up here talking about he think the Epstein file should be open when, hold up, Donald J. Trump is rumored. I say rumored because I don't have any direct proof or evidence that he was out there on Epstein Island.
2 files that they do not want to be released.
That's right, Seventh Dancer, they don't. And he gonna get up there and say that? Oh, so Charlie Boy want to play some dirty, do some double dealing and wheeling, dealing and backdooring his damn self. Oh my. Wow. Oh. So now if you're just tuning into the Lion's Den, this is the segment called The Conversation Continues. And as you can see, we're conversing, we're going hard body. All right? And we're just showing you that, listen, we don't make these things up. These are things that were going on before we were born. But now we're also talking about the fact, not only are we talking about the echo of Charlie Kirk and his assassination and the who, where, what, why, when, and possibles of what happened. What we're showing you is a bigger picture. You all, there's a bigger agenda at work here, at stake here. See, mind control, mind alteration. See, we all have to understand that there are elements of this country now, they have no choice. With the divine judgment, we're not going to take the Lord out of this, the one true God of Israel. We're not taking the fact that his judgment, they know it's coming. And they're scared out of their mind. So they devised in their minds that the only way they can control this country or control the world is through a militaristic, iron-fisted grip. Now, how do you go about doing that? By creating certain thoughts, ideas, and patterns, all right? And then putting the mind control, putting programming into effect. When you think about it in the last 25 to 30 years, movies like The Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis, Samuel L. Jackson. You remember what Gina Davis said? Or I forget the actor, he was known as Mr. Perkins. He said, listen, we tried to hit the World Trade way back in 93, but it didn't work out. So this time we're gonna blow up a town and we're gonna kill several thousand people for real. And then about 5 years later, up from that movie, the World Trade got hit again and blown up and destroyed, wherein thousands of people died. And then the Homeland Security and all these other bills got put in play where it knocks out what? Your right to privacy. And giving the government access to everything you do. Then we've been seeing a lot of movies dealing with what? Mind controlling, The Matrix. And all these other movies dealing with, even before The Matrix though, you had movies dealing with how to control, how to manipulate. Think back on the Batman that featured Val Kilmer, and he was up against Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones, and you had Jim Carrey who portrayed the Riddler, who created a machine that could see into your mind, and not only see into your mind, make what you have going on into your mind a possible reality. Now here you got this young man. The picture, this I think his name Tyrone Bob. I keep getting his name wrong. All right, but my point is, here it was. He was talking to his sister, and you heard earlier where he was testifying to something that day put materials in my body that day. And if you looked at the Look at the setting when Irina Zaretska, before she walked on that train, you could see he was talking to somebody. You could see he was motioning and talk as if someone was talking to him, almost as if he had an earpiece in his ear. And when she walked on, she sits down while in the midst of the ride, he rises up and starts stabbing her. Okay? Or appeared to be stabbing her. I'm going to say appeared to be. Because again, we don't know for sure that what we're seeing may not be actors. See, mind control. There are a lot of you out there, well, I could never be hypnotized. But yet, how many of us know the motto of Nike? Just do it. See, we all know that. It's just automatic. And you're talking about you can't be controlled, that you can't be a victim of mind control. Huh? But he testified that they put something in my body. And I want to take y'all back some 14 to 15, 30 years ago, or better. Starting 30 years ago, and then as Karima pointed out in our private conversation, a recent resurgence of the shutting down of a number of mental institutions. Does anyone remember that? Does anyone recall that? Now, what is the significance of that? Here we need to have people who are very disturbed, very sick. They need to be contained. They need to be in these institutions getting the help they need. But the government shut down scores of mental institutions. And so now you release these.
And remember,
Go ahead.
remember, these are the target places for them to implant things into them. Prison, mental hospital, things like that, where they already been, and then they release them. They already stick things up in them without them even knowing. It could be in a meal, could be in their medicine or whatever. You feel me? It could be on a cell phone. It could be, it's crazy how they got cameras everywhere, when it comes to crimes that they know that they can solve, but any other crime is no cameras, nothing. But they surveil them after they release them, so they, monitor their behavior. But these are the places that they target them at. You know what I mean? They easily to slip them with these devices without them even knowing.
Good points. I'm glad. Good points that you raised, and you're right. It's way easier if you're already being billed as crazy, if you're already in the prison system where, because you are now a slave under the 14th Amendment, I think it is, or 13th Amendment, you're subject to anything at any time because most of your rights have been knocked out the box. So my point is, y'all, here it is. You have these people now being released into an unsuspecting public. Many of them being programmed and used to attack the people out here. Like I said, this young man testified that I don't know who they is, put something in his body. He was hearing voices. The guy, Colin Wilson, I think his name is, Colin Johnson, when he stabbed Nia Wilson, the black girl, he testified he was hearing voices in that day. Release him, day. And Donald Trump was the president at the time. They released him. And he was told to attack. Okay? And there are other stories. David, this goes back years ago, 50 years ago. David Burker was known as the Son of Sam. He was talking about this. This was during the LSD angel dust trip. And he was said that he was induced to go out and kill the victims he killed. And all kind of gun laws. That happened in New York back in 1977, if I'm not mistaken, going into 78. That's right. So this has been going on for a long time. And what we're showing you is that these things are real. The movies, like I said, the art imitates life. The Manchurian Candidate, all right? And all these other movies, Enemy of the State, I, Robot. And look at these people that are out here committing some of these attacks. Look at their eyes. You can see ain't nobody home. So as we run these videos and everything else, we want you to have keep an open mind and take under careful consideration that, again, what you think you're seeing may not be what you're seeing, or what we're seeing may have been deliberately orchestrated and put in play. So you want to run the video now, Karima? Yeah, seventh answer. If you want to run the video, you can do so.
Shrouded in controversy, and now some believe these practices may continue under different guises. A recent incident in Charlotte, where an individual attacked a woman identified as an immigrant, has sparked further speculation. Some argue this event is part of a larger pattern of exploitation, where vulnerable individuals are used as pawns in furthering political agendas. As these claims surface, questions arise about the extent of government influence and control in such cases. With video evidence and patterns emerging across different incidents, the public is left wondering if there's more to these events than meets the eye. A complex web of politics and potential government manipulation is unfolding, with some pointing to a calculated strategy to influence public opinion and push specific agendas. The recent surge in spotlighting crimes committed by immigrants, particularly in the context of the ongoing immigration debate, has led some to believe that these incidents are being used to further a narrative of stricter border control and heightened security measures. This narrative appears to be intertwined with political tensions, especially in cities like San Francisco, Chicago, and other areas where there's a notable divide. Some argue that by emphasizing certain crimes and manipulating public perception, there's an effort to create a sense of urgency and fear, which can be leveraged to justify increased military or law enforcement presence in specific neighborhoods and communities. Furthermore, the targeting of African Americans in some of these incidents has sparked speculation about a potential shift in focus, where different groups are being used as pawns in a larger political game.
You can kind of put anyone in jail if you know what to do. You create the situation to where they have no choice but to act on their impulse. And once they act on that impulse, then we call that entrapment. We call it a nudge. A nudge. Sometimes you just gotta give them a quick look just to see what happens, right? How does that happen? You put a post out there, or you have someone fake profile, say something that triggers, that we know is going to trigger them, right? Like we already know your history. If we're to that point, we already know everything about it. So we're like, oh, this is different. Sometimes you like to view and just wait for it to follow. That's when we're putting out fake social media things so that really get people mad. Most fake news. Sometimes it's fake. Just relish the world.
You said something in your body did what? You said something in your body.
Material, feel like it's material using my body. The material, feel like it's material using my body is that lady.
And so she just got stabbed. And so she just got stabbed.
did that, now they got to investigate the material about it.
She's from Russia, and you know they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States. So you know they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States.
I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. What's working with you? Whoever was working with you was working out.
It was the most secret program ever conducted by the CIA in the United States. Patients at psychiatric hospitals, prisoners in federal institutions, and even people in the public were given drugs without their awareness or consent and experimented upon.
What if the most terrifying science fiction stories weren't fiction at all? What if the real monsters were hidden behind government seals, buried in redacted files, and locked away in vaults marked top secret? Tonight, we peel back the layers of deception to reveal the darkest, most chilling secrets ever declassified by the CIA. These aren't just stories. They're documented operations, experiments, and conspiracies that sound too twisted to be true. But they are.
The CIA was scared stiff the KGB was going to get all this LSD and come over and start dosing people. So we bought every drop of LSD in existence at that point.
Operation Midnight Climax, the CIA's LSD brothels. In the heart of San Francisco and New York during the 1950s and 60s, the CIA operated a series of safe houses under the innocuous-sounding Operation Midnight Climax. But behind these doors, a sinister experiment unfolded. Sex workers on the CIA's payroll lured unsuspecting men into these locations, where they were secretly dosed with LSD. Behind one-way mirrors, CIA operatives observed and recorded their reactions, aiming to study the effects of the drug and explore mind control techniques. The goal? To determine if individuals could be manipulated into revealing secrets or even committing acts against their will. These experiments violated ethical standards and the rights of countless individuals, many of whom never knew they were part of a clandestine operation. But what happened next shocked everyone. Project MK Ultra, the quest for mind control. Project MK Ultra was the CIA's most infamous mind control program, initiated in the early 1950s. Under the direction of chemist Sidney Gottlieb, the agency conducted a series of experiments involving LSD, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and other methods on unwitting subjects. Victims included prisoners, mental patients, and even CIA employees. One tragic case involved Dr. Frank Olson, a government scientist who was unknowingly dosed with LSD and later died under mysterious circumstances. The official story claimed suicide, but many believe he was silenced to prevent the truth from emerging. The program's unethical practices eventually came to light in the 1970s, leading to public outrage and congressional hearings. Yet many details remain shrouded in secrecy, leaving us to wonder, how deep did the rabbit hole go? Project Artichoke, can you create an assassin? Before MK Ultra, there was Project Artichoke. Launched in 1951, this CIA initiative aimed to determine whether individuals could be compelled to commit assassinations against their will. Using hypnosis, forced addiction, and psychological manipulation, the agency explored the boundaries of human control. One chilling question posed in a declassified memo: can we get control of an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will and even against fundamental laws of nature, such as self-preservation? The implications are terrifying. If successful, this program could have created real-life Manchurian candidates, individuals programmed to kill without memory or remorse. Project Stargate, psychic spies, and remote viewing. In the 1970s, the CIA Project Stargate, a program exploring the potential of psychic phenomena for intelligence gathering. The focus was on remote viewing, the ability to perceive distant or unseen targets through extrasensory perception. Notably, Israeli
I can disrupt an individual from the level of their cell to their system, and disrupt individuals on a variety of levels, from individuals all the way up to the social fabric. Target a specific individual, change or eliminate that individual with very little attribution and trace, and be able to leave prior to any attribution.
Who here actually feels like they are under surveillance pretty regularly? Everyone is trying to like, how many people here have been arrested and have their court date, they have their phone taken into the back room? How many people here have their retina scanned? Wow.
If you're targeting demonstrators, you make them suicidally depressed. And they don't care about demonstrating anymore because they're too upset. With one pulse frequency, you can just make people so suicidal. They can't be bothered to act like a demonstrator anymore. All they want to do is sleep or lay in bed all day.
There's an infrastructure in place in the United States and worldwide that is built in cooperation with other governments as well that intersects basically every digital communication, every radio communication, every analog communication that it has sensors in place to detect.
If they can't get it through the internet, through the tapping of the lines or anything like that, through a commercial means, and they're unsure about you, they can get it by close access means, coming in and actually bugging your house or bugging your, or putting monitors in your system, in your house or on your computer. They can use your computer video to look back at you, or they can monitor within a certain distance the keystrokes you're making on your computer or what you're putting on your computer screen. And if that's not enough, they can come in through the firewall you think you have but don't, and go through your operating system that you think protects you but doesn't, and read your encrypted email that you thought was secure but isn't. Or they can simply wait for you to do decrypts if you've done that, pull them off, and use your unused CPU while you're on the computer to drain it. It's called active attack.
We are in a new Cold War, and this is why countries are developing this. I mean, really developing this. And this is why all of the microwave transmitters are going up everywhere. Because somebody, if they wanted to, could use them for other effects. The system is up and running.
The MIT was awarded a number of years ago to Woody Norris. This is 2005 or 2006. And that award was $500,000 for doing what's called acoustic heterodyning, being able to send a signal from 2 points into an individual so they literally hear a voice in their head that nobody around them hears.
I mean, voices are the easiest ones because all you have to do is stimulate the cochlea with a set resonant frequency. It's very easy. Voices are very easy. And it isn't people imagining voices, they physically hear them. You can physically make people hear voices, certain voices, and it can be any conversation, and it can be anybody you want to hear. It can be a soft, angelic voice, it can be a god, it can be something that scares you like a devil. It can be anything.
DARPA let a couple of contracts back in 2011, 2012 to the University of California for what's called electronic telepathy, being able to monitor the brain activity of human beings at a distance and determine what they're thinking. And then on a second contract, actually developing complex signals, being able to send them into the brain of another person, literally transmit a message. This is where the technology is today.
After 9/11, to monitor U.S. citizens, and the U.S. Department of Justice legalized non-consensual experiments on the public. These fusion centers employ civilians to target individuals and harass them, intimidate them, vandalize their property, and interfere with their day-to-day life. This is known as gang stalking. Former high-ranking FBI agent Ted Gunderson reported in 2011 that himself and thousands of others were being targeted. FBI agent Mike German confirmed this as well. Several federal agents have reported that they were targeting individual Americans, including people who are simply pro-life, and that they were pressured to put more people on their targeting lists to legitimize more federal funding. These Homeland Security fusion centers are able to put any American citizen on the terrorist watch list without any reason or due process. In 2012, NSA whistleblower William Binney reported that the feds are conducting comprehensive surveillance on nearly every U.S. citizen and targeting whomever they please. In 2014, Glenn Greenwald exposed the methods used to target individuals, such as hacking into people's social media accounts, posing as that person, and contacting their friends and coworkers. TargetedJustice.com is currently working on suing the federal government for targeting individual U.S. citizens with different high-tech weapons, including directed energy weapons. The Havana Syndrome, when diplomats in Cuba were attacked with directed energy weapons, was not an isolated event. There are thousands of individuals who claim to be under this same sort of attack, and they have the scar because 1976. The technology to remotely alter brainwaves has existed, including voice-to-skull technology that allows the government to directly transmit voices into people's brains. As bad as all this is, it is likely to get much worse. In 2017, Dr. James Giordano gave a lecture on the latest government technologies to target individuals, such as neuroweapons to control brain function and modify memories.
I'm looking to target key individuals who may then be influential to relative aspects of their representative groups. I can affect individuals' brain functions in a variety of different ways, both positively and negatively, by engaging or disengaging nodes and networks of the brain that therefore affect their cognitions, emotions, and ultimately their behaviors. Something my colleague Jamie Canton likes to play with an awful lot is the idea of specialized neural operations. And here, once again, we're talking about the use of either drugs and or devices to modify the integrity of brain function that we realize can also modify individuals' perception of time and space. We talked earlier about how these may be used in interrogation scenarios, and this too may be used against key individuals to be able to modify their perception of time, their perception of what occurred and what did not, memory modification, etc.
Nanoparticulates that can give an individual a stroke.
So what we're able to here is infiltrate the brain space with nanoparticulate matter that aggregates in situ, on site in the brain, and does one of two things: either penetrates from the vascular space, gets in through the bloodstream, gets in through the nose, through the mucosa, or infiltrates the vascular space and clogs it. What is the result? Particulate stroke, or a hemorrhagic diathesis, fancy word, for it's a predisposition to individuals having brain bleeds.
He explains how they can make people sick with an undetectable illness to make them go crazy.
What I'm doing is I'm using a dispersion methodology to be able to infect sentinel cases with a highly morbid condition. These individuals complain. Again, this is a central nervous system condition. So they're complaining of whatever the bug may do. It'll produce some cascade of neurological and neuropsychiatric signs and symptoms. What I've now done is I've got every individual who is diagnostically hypochondriacal, and I've got every individual who's a worried well flooding the public health system, banging on the door. The CDC comes back and says, nonsense, that's not real. CDC comes back and says, nonsense, that's not real. I come back and say, that's fake news.
We are learning new details tonight about suspected directed energy microwave attacks targeting CIA officers and top national security officials. We first started hearing about them, and we told you about them here on Special Report in 2016, shortly after then President Obama opened the embassy in Havana, Cuba. National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon has the latest tonight about a suspected attack here at home.
U.S. officials say there are now 130 suspected victims, mostly CIA operatives and U.S. diplomats being treated for brain injuries, debilitating headaches, and vertigo, the targets they believe of a directed energy microwave weapon.
There's a mysterious direct energy weapon that is being used, and it is causing, in some cases, permanent traumatic brain injury.
New indications suggest the incidents go as far back as 1996. Two individuals working on the NSC believe they were targeted in 2019 and in 2020, just after the election. One was near the White House and one was walking her dog. The Russians have been working on mobile microwave weapons for years.
We have to get more information, and we got to tell the public what's going on.
The U.S. Air Force and tech firm Epirus have developed a mobile high-energy microwave weapon to bring down drones. Epirus is also working on a miniature variant of the weapon that can be easily transported on a pickup truck. This is the type of technology that might be targeting American diplomats.
The CIA is now taking the issue seriously, but without the actual weapon, U.S. officials don't know who to blame and how to stop these alleged attacks.
At the county level and above, the equipment can monitor your thinking and send voices to your mind and talk to you in your head. That's what they said.
Wang says the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP,
Hey, stop for a
currently
second.
uses the
Say the
technology to
dancer.
control tens of thousands of people.
If you hear
He
me.
says he
Now, Smashing Out, you're saying a whole lot out there. And I'm going to come back and read some of your comments and all that. But let me just say this to y'all. That anyone who's listening on if you're not listening on YouTube and you're listening on Facebook, did you hear the testimonies about brainwave control? They're looking to free range and and try to attack people or program people to attack. Okay, how many of y'all remember the movie in 2009? It was called Push. It starred Chris Evans and Dakota Fanning. It was about a group of people who the government of that particular time frame experimented on different people, and they had different abilities. Some were telekinetic, some were able to bend minds and control minds. The most dangerous was the telepaths and the ones who control minds, led by actor Digimon Honshu, the African brother, the Digimon Honshu, and he would go. They were the most lethal and sought after because they can go into your mind and program you to kill yourself and others. See, did you hear in the video presentation? Oh, well, we had brainwaves. The government had brainwaves, microwaves hit that would look to affect the brain and have people kill or do things against their will from a distance. And that movie, the movie pushed, it delved into a government using people as weapons. Again, with the telepaths being the most sought after and the most dangerous, and the telekinetic, and even the one with the voice that could yell and bust your eardrum. My point is, they were all results of government experiments, and here it is. We've been in the last number of years hit with what? This COVID virus. You gotta get that shot. Okay? And all these other additives being put. Did you hear what he said in one along the way, that people in mental institutions and prisons were finding certain things in their foods? You don't think that they're not putting that we may be getting subject to things put into our food? It didn't escape me that during this presentation that Kareem is giving us, that you heard a scientist say, well, things can get into our system, and he caught himself because he said the CDC, the Center of Disease Control, has monitored that there's certain things that could get into our And then he caught himself because he was going to say our system, but then he said the system. Brothers and sisters, like I said, we've been talking about these things. The Most High, the Bible said we were going to be in some hard and dark times, and you would have these fools looking to be him on any level. So are you seeing this? Also, think about the movie Demolition Man that starred Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. Do you remember how you had this evil dude that Wesley Snipes said reminded him of the evil Mr. Rogers, who had a utopia mind control in his mind? He was reprogramming dangerous criminals and warriors to do his bidding because he wanted to take down that particular government. But he had Wesley Snipes still able to control weapons and blow up everything, but yet he was crocheting and sewing right along with Stallone. My point is, these movies are showing you what they're doing in real life, and I have no problem saying we know that America is not a righteous government, nor these other governments out here. It takes me back to when Adolf Hitler told Jesse Owens, and it wasn't a compliment when he said this, but he said, if I could just have just 10 men like you, I could take over the world. All right, this is what Adolf Hitler is on record as saying to Jesse Owens, Olympian Jesse Owens. And so now you see, maybe Rockwell, the singer Rockwell, back in the days, he had a song called I Always Feel Like Somebody's Watching Me and I Have No Privacy. And also the other Stalker song, Ultimate Stalker song by Sting and the Police. I'll be watching you every move you make, every vow you take. I'll be watching. Yo, this is not a joke or a game. Okay, I know I got a way of saying things that might sound like I'm trying to be funny, but I'm not. We were being shown this stuff when we were kids. I take for some of us fellas who might go back to the 60s and 70s and into the 80s. Remember the cartoon series G.I. Joe? We all thought Cobra Commander was dangerous, but there was one character that scared everybody on both the G.I. Joe side and the Cobra side. This dude was lethal. And he called himself Dr. Mindbender. Remember him? He was going around, he would inject all kinds of chemicals and potions that dealt with what? Mind control and controlling people and programming. When we were kids, we were being indoctrinated into this already. All these performance enhancing drugs that's turning people into stark. You heard it. You've heard of roid rage, and that stuff turns people into stark raving maniacs. Like I said, we are truly in some dreadful and dark times. Go ahead, Seventh Dancer, run it.
She's also spoken with other victims who describe suffering the same round-the-clock noise in their minds. Some of them reportedly couldn't bear it and are believed to have committed suicide. But more and more victims have started to speak out. The CCP hasn't hidden its intention to weaponize mind control. Regime media mouthpiece Xinhua reprinted an article earlier last year speaking highly of the technology's military and wartime value. The article says the purpose of mind control weapons is not the destruction of an enemy's flesh, but of his will. It also says the new technology doesn't require a chip implanted in the human brain. Instead, electromagnetic waves, light, sound waves, smells, among other things, can be used. Reporting by Xu Wanhui, NTD News.
The possible involvement of technologies like MK Ultra adds another layer of complexity. with some suggesting that these could be used to manipulate individuals into committing crimes or behaving in certain ways. The government's alleged use of various tactics to shape public perception and behavior has been a topic of discussion, with some pointing to evidence that suggests a level of involvement in media and entertainment. According to FBI files and congressional testimony, there is evidence to suggest that the government has utilized media, including Hollywood and news outlets, to influence public opinion. This admission underscores the complex relationship between government, agencies, and the media, highlighting the potential for influence and manipulation. By examining these dynamics and the evidence that supports them, we can gain a deeper understanding of the mechanisms at play. There have been numerous cases and stories that highlight the complex relationship between government agencies, media, and the public.
Hi, my name's Rochelle. I'm a victim of technological human trafficking. I haven't made a video for a while, and I've come back. YouTube shut my channel down, and I've come back to expose it. What the perps have now done is they've started destroying my skin with the EMF broadcast. They've done this before, but they're creating the impression that it can't heal. They like to manipulate. It's almost like they're not only manipulating skin, but they destroy your teeth as well. They do a lot. And the perps are at it again. As soon as I entered, they started the directed conversation. Almost like the R&M was giving them feedback about how I was feeling. The perps that are only by choice get access to everything that you're feeling and thinking. I know it sounds crazy. I'm still getting used to myself. And the worst part is that they want you to feel as though it's your problem. It's something about you. No one should have access to your mind, no matter who they are. That in itself proves that they think that they can push this. Some sort of superiority complex. Because it's demonic in itself to act like you've got that right over any human being. And I didn't let that stop me. I continued. I stayed. I did my workout. And then as I was leaving, I got another perp trying the classical conditioning to make me know that I shouldn't return. It's almost like they're engaging in social engineering to discourage any TI that's been a victim of human trafficking to keep going, to keep achieving. And the R&M perps that have spoken to me, the ones that live as a broadcaster, they constantly attack me with EMF. And I'm a
patient person, have a good listening ear, and try to help people.
You're patient with a good ear. You try to help people.
Yeah.
When you're not trying to.
Okay, we're back. We're back now. If you're just now tuning in, you are listening to The Lion's Den, the segment known as The Conversation Continues. Talking about what's on your mind. You have myself, Yeshaya, along with the seventh answer. No, not Yeshaya, I'm sorry.
MK Ultra was
I'm sorry.
The hard.
Okay, a quick timeout. So now you're listening to a presentation by the seventh answer. We're showing and proving beyond all shadow of doubt that everything you see going on out here is by design. It is not random. Okay. And what we're showing, including the assassination of Charlie Kirk, everything is a part of a big diabolical web. But before we go any further, with the second now, I want to see who's now talking. Hey, Hanaya Yasha, hello. How you doing? Welcome. Smashing Idol, I see you always on point. You know what I'm going to do? Listen. Some of y'all are strong, devout. That's right, Hanaya, y'all. These people are diabolical. They are. And you've been sitting back listening. This stuff is crazy, you say, Hanaya? Yes, it is, sister. But you know what? This is why we have to come out here at all costs and reveal these things. We can't sit by and see all these things popping and going down and not say anything. So this is why I devote myself, my body is a living sacrifice, along with the seventh answer, and Yeshua God when he's here. Look, we are not going to sit by and not say nothing. We're going to ring the alarm in the spirit of Ezekiel 3:17 as watchmen and watchwomen in this work, Hanaya. That's why we do what we do. You're right. They are diabolical. And on a mass scale, social experiments, perfectly stated. Listen, you know what I'm going to do? As well, if it's okay, seventh answer, if some of y'all want to come up in here and join the conversation, right? I can monologue, I can talk, we can talk, we can do this, monologue, but sometimes the more the merrier. If y'all want to come and converse or join the conversation and give a little bit of insight, hindsight, as a matter of fact, Hanaya, y'all, you owe me a date. You supposed to come back here and I forgot what it was we will be talking about, but you said you were going to come back and explain something up in here, and now you here. I'm going to hold you to that. If you don't want to do it, when you're ready to come on board and talk and have a conversation, you're more than welcome. Smash, you're welcome to join the conversation if you want, because you got a whole lot to say out there in the conversation area. But moving on, go to work, seventh answer. As you can see, like I said, you see why I always give praise, and I'm always amazed at how the Most High gives certain people gifts. And I gotta say this, man. Every time I say something or we say something here, you shout out, the seventh, she just like a magician. She just pulls it out the hat and everything like hocus pocus, even though we don't do magic here. I'm just amazed though. How in the hell you do that? But anyway, run the video, y'all. I mean, seventh answer, run the video.
That's the FBI. Listen to what's happening. Disciplinary process with respect to individuals involved in that.
Here's the deal. You're back in front of us asking for the reauthorization of extraordinary authorities. Multiple courts have uncovered extraordinary abuses perpetrated by your agency. You are at the same time concealing information about serious allegations made in an unprecedented way. Why would we ever give you the blank you surveilling American citizens in an improper manner? Why would we ever do that?
Senator, we're here to talk about reforms today. I did get confirmation that the query...
No, we're not. We're here to talk about the reauthorization of Section 702. Why would we reauthorize it, given your track record of abuse and illegal improper surveillance and political targeting? Why would we do that? Why would it be appropriate for this body to do that?
We've made significant reforms and implemented corrective measures. We've seen significant progress as a result of that, Senator. That's what I was just told by my counterpart.
That is amazing.
The earlier question.
So your testimony is the 280,000 queries of American citizens was unintentional. That's your final answer?
That's how they were assessed by that team that did the review. I'm not satisfied with that. That's why we implemented further measures, as I announced earlier today.
Yeah, I don't believe that at all. And frankly, we've heard from your agency 1,000 times that you're going to do better, will do better. You promised after the abuses of Title I, you do better, and then we find out that in the meantime, you're illegally querying 280,000 American citizens' data. It's unbelievable, frankly. Everything you say is unbelievable.
Did you hear that? Now, seventh answer, what institution is that? Okay, before I go any further, who was that? Do you know who that was?
You're talking about the MK Ultra where they adapted to another program, but it's the same program where they wanted to monitor people. The same thing I showed you where they wanted fundings to monitor, open up the project and monitor people, which is the same program, which is MK Ultra.
Thank you. So now you see that, y'all. You see how many? You see where our money, our tax money, our extorted tax money goes to? You see how diabolical and cold looking that dude was, asking for money to be able to, as the guy said, here it is, you done hooked up already to 290,000 people's social media platforms and so on and so forth, and you want more money to tap in and hack?
Yeah,
See,
monitor the public, American people. And that's when they went to court. And I told you, United States lost 2022. They lost against China because they went to court against them for surveilling, mind control, all that. Remember, I showed you the report. They lost, and that's why I
wait,
think they
what?
said across the.
Wait, Kareem, hold on. I remember all that, but I was in a real dark state of mind and wasn't really paying attention. That was what that was
I'm gonna go
about?
get it. I'm gonna go get it.
Yo, all right, go get it. But see, brothers and sisters, and yes, smashing idol, the scriptures does lay all this out. The Most High said he was going to put a spirit on this man of perdition that he'll reveal himself. And if y'all out here can't see who that man of perdition is, that means you want to be blind. You don't want to see. But we don't try to force this down no one's throat. But if you can't see biblical scripture in full effect now more than ever, that means you want to be blind, or the Most High has you blind, and that's unfortunate for you. But we're getting ready to go, most notably, into Second Esdras, the book of the Bible called the Apocrypha. We're getting ready to go into Second Esdras, the 15th chapter, no doubt. See, this mind control. See, the Most High said that they would have a spirit on them where they said that we want to be like the Most High. We will be like the Most High. Because who's the greatest? He tells you in the book of Job that he controls a man's thoughts. But the more he sends signals and waves and spirits to control people. And these fools here want to try and do it on the AI and dark side. That's how sick and twisted and out of it and diabolical these people are. But they're revealing themselves to be the man of perdition, that person of hell. And now we can no longer, and you out there listening, you can no longer want to try to veil yourself, cover yourself in lies. Excuse me. You can't veil yourself in pretending you can't see what is happening right before your very eyes. Because you got us here and we are bringing it hardcore to the door. See, we're pulling out all the facts and configurations. Isaiah 41:21, producing our cause. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. We are proving all things. All things. And so our aim, mission, and purpose is to help not only liberate our own mind, soul, and body, but you out here listening to liberate your mind, your soul, your bodies. Now, early on, I was a little colorful in language. You have to forgive me, but to just this evil, deliberate, now mind control and programming. See, all these white men that's looking to attack black people now, you better believe all that is to mind control. They are terrified. They understand that we, as the children of Israel, we're coming back into our manhood. Our sisters are coming back into their womanhood, and we're not asking for their validation. We don't need it, and we're taking everything back. The Lord is now leveling the playing field. Yeah, they have their technology, but He has His. And what He has, we have through Christ. But we have to now be more vigilant and aware of when we go do our hospital visits, doctor visits. You got to be more aware on what they're injecting in us. Asking more questions. One, if you can stave off from being injected with anything, stave off from it. These people are on code. You don't know who and what you're dealing with. All right, Seventh Answer. If you got the video, let's go to work.
No, these are receipts. These are court dates. These are the charges that they was charged with. This is court file.
Oh, this is the court date. And welcome to Tawana. Hello, Miss John. Hello, sweetie. How are you, color commentator? We've been missing you around these parts. It is deep. You quite right. It is deep, deep. But now, the Most High reveals all secrets to who? His prophets and prophetesses. This is what we're doing. So that's the court the court docket. Wow. I had no idea that was what that was about. Seventh Answer. But everyone listening, yo, this is why you have to get on your A game and start paying more attention to what you're listening to. Because like I said, the video, the tape sheet, the presentation that Seventh Answer gave earlier, did you hear? Oh, through your music, through your computer system, we're looking to hack and tap into everything. And I've been seeing all kind of strange things and all kind of strange ads and all kind of, signs that I'm being listened to or someone's listening to me. I've noticed that after certain shows that we do and episodes we do, I'll get an ad saying, "Hey, do you think someone's hacking into your system? Do you want to clean your virus?" I'm like, "Oh wow!" Like those are signs. Yeah, we've been listening to. They're listening to us, and that's why you have to be glad that we're here. What's this? Run this video, Karima. Let me know. You ready to run it now? I thought I saw my boy Wild Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when you're ready.
Now I'm gonna run it. Yeah, I'm gonna run this other video. Hold on.
All right. So while let me see who's talking. Who else is talking out here? Human experiment. That's right. Karima, pull up Isaiah 51:23. That's human experiments on our people. The mind. That's right, Smash. Tawana John. That's right, Tawana. They're tapping into the vibrations. You are absolutely on fire with that one. You got me thinking about Star Wars. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and those movies, George Lucas been dropping bombs and bullets and warnings. When you say the whole issue of vibrations, Tawana, it takes me back to when Yoda is telling Anakin Skywalker about being careful what he thinks, what he feels, because if you're not careful with your emotional state, you could be led to the dark side. How it could be, and how they could sense when someone was not right, or when they could feel the vibration. You got that right. This is what we are dealing with. This is why we are all, each and every last one of us now have to use all of our talent, our God-given talent. Those of us who've been awakened to strive to be moral men and women and strive to be practicing Israelites. This is why we got to go through all our deprogramming. We're not up out of here just yet. The Lord said it was going to be that this technology that these fools have would be to the point where it could fool some of the very elect if they're not careful. So we have to understand how deep this goes. So now, if you're ready, Seventh Dancer, it's all on you now. Or are you still configuring it? Okay, she's still configuring it. Well, in the meantime, like I said, also, did any of y'all, while we in the other previous presentation, did any of you hear that how way back in the 1950s you had the government using women to lure men to come into a place to have supposedly a good time, but they were actually being dosed with LSD? See, this was going on long before you and I were born. Okay, depending on how old you are. I'm assuming and presuming that many of the listeners of this show, many of us are Gen X, but I'm sure I have some of the great generation and baby boomers. I know some of you all are listening too. So maybe this was going on when y'all were born. But what's scary is this. This was what was going on before we were born. And brothers and sisters, do you see the horrible world, this cursed, God-forsaken world that we've inherited? And this is why I also work so feverishly. I don't want the new generation, the Y and those coming now. I don't want our babies to have to inherit this. This needs to be solved and gone before they reach their maturity. So, Seventh Answer, it's on you now. Run the video.
And all of the powers that be battling each other, it will be the greatest story ever told. Plot twists of reality. And I started realizing that reality is 20 times more interesting than Hollywood. I mean, I was a Hollywood buff. I loved all of those movies, but now they're
Uh-huh. Apparently somebody don't like what we're running, huh? Okay, go to work. Let's go. Okay, here we go.
Controlling an individual to the point where he will.
When the Third Reich was brought down, was he secretly brought all of the top Nazi scientists into the U.S. He falsified their files that he gave to Harry Truman, making them look like there were no war crimes. They brought the conducted on Jewish men, women, and children, and the psychological studies that these Nazi scientists had done. The CIA was using their expertise for these programs through Operation Paperclip. And this was Nazi, much of it occult beliefs that the CIA adopted and actually put these people on their payroll.
One of the programs that came out of Operation Paperclip was MKUltra. Now, MKUltra was a very complex program that dealt with human experiments and mind manipulation.
As this 1952 CIA memo says, the aim is controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will, and even against such fundamental laws of nature as self-preservation.
In the Church Committee, MKUltra came out as an actual program of mind control using mental, physical, and sexual abuse and psychotropic drugs.
Lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD.
It was one of the first times that anybody had run.
And it took my sound.
You see that, y'all? Later, we going so hard and so heavy. This is what, wow, come on, man. Really, y'all? Y'all can't handle the truth? Y'all that sensitive? Well, look, it's cool. No matter what you do, the Lord sees everything, and He gonna deal with you. That's all right. But we're gonna continue on. And as you can see, this is why we do what we do, because we understand that here it is. I always feel like somebody's watching me, and we have no privacy. But it's cool. It's cool. And that shows you that what we do here, we're dealing with the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. Now see, if we was up in here shucking, jiving, talking about nothing, all right, she gonna try and go for it again. Talking about nothing, I guarantee you, entertain, the definition of entertain, to distract, to take you away. If we were talking about big butt booties and niggas ain't no good, or we get all the sound and all the views in the world, but it's cool. We're gonna keep on moving and everything else. But you see what we up against? You see how this works? This is why we're trying to develop an app now. We got to deal with this bull.
It's
all right,
20 times more interesting than Hollywood. I mean, I was a Hollywood buff. I loved all of those movies, but now they're meaningless because I know what's going on right now actually has purpose and has a meaning, and there are consequences. And once this story is told on what's happening in the world right now, and all of the powers that be battling each other, it will be the greatest story ever told. Like, for instance, I saw something on History Channel talking about how the CIA helped Disney buy all the swampland in Florida. Well, why on earth would they do that?
His lawyers in charge of purchasing the parcels had served in military intelligence during World War II and knew how to keep a secret. And they used several different companies, none with Disney's name, to acquire the properties.
Now I go down this rabbit hole of what does the CIA have to do with Hollywood, or at least with Disney? Washington, D.C. is definitely in Hollywood. I have seen documents of the DOD and the CIA writing to the studio heads, guiding them in certain fashion. There's a lot of things that people would talk about that are conspiracy theory, but there's some things that ring true with me. It's like, oh, wow, that makes a lot of sense.
Another program developed by the CIA after World War II was called Operation Paperclip. It's been depicted in many movies, including Disney's Marvel series.
Operation Paperclip after World War II. SHIELD recruited German scientists with strategic value.
Thought I could help their cause.
Operation Paperclip, and this is something people need to know because it has been so covered up and mocked and berated and claimed to be a conspiracy theory. And by the way, the term labeling people as conspiracy theorists was invented by the CIA to deflect any attention over the JFK assassination. They invented that word as a way to shut down any scrutiny or this critical investigation of what they were doing. So they started that whole ball rolling. In terms of Operation Paperclip, it is documented. There's absolutely no question about it. Alan Dulles, CIA director, was an associate of Heinrich Himmler of the Third Reich. So what Dulles proceeded to do when the Third Reich was brought down was he secretly brought all of the top Nazi scientists into the U.S. He falsified their files that he gave to Harry Truman, making them look like there were no war crimes. They brought these Nazi scientists into the CIA to work for the CIA, and that includes the human experiments they conducted on Jewish men, women, and children, and the psychological studies that these Nazi scientists had done. The CIA was using their expertise for these programs through Operation Paperclip, and this was Nazi, much of it occult beliefs that the CIA adopted and actually put these people on their payroll.
One of the programs that came out of Operation Paperclip was MKUltra. Now, MKUltra was a very complex program that dealt with human experiments and mind manipulation.
As this 1952 CIA memo says, the aim is controlling an individual to the point where he will do our bidding against his will, and even against such fundamental laws of nature as self-preservation.
In the Church Committee, MKUltra came out as an actual program of mind control using mental, physical, and sexual abuse and psychotropic drugs.
Lysergic acid diethylamide, LSD.
It was one of the first times that anybody had run into a powerful drug that was different than anything else that they knew anything about.
A decision was made at the highest levels of the CIA to do testing on unwitting Americans.
At Ravenscraig, Dr. Cameron went further with drugs and electric shock treatments than any researchers in the MKUltra project dared. His aim was to wipe the mind clean. Then he would implant new messages by forcing the patient to listen to a hypnotic repetition as many as 250,000 times. This was called psychic driving.
He would give the patient intensive electric treatment. He would attempt to implant new ideas in the mind of the patient.
Now, to a layman, it would appear that Dr. Cameron was trying to take the slate and wipe it clean, the slate being the mind. In other words, brainwashing.
Exactly, that's a very good comparison.
Brainwashing.
Yes, to that.
No. Oh, good heavens.
You're doing fine, just try to describe it. Oh, you don't know, you want to give yourself, so much.
How do you feel inside? Inside? I'm really inside.
Nobody explained it to me. Nobody ever asked me if I was willing to do it or anything.
They put me on sleep treatment. And they kept you asleep for 23 days. And while I was asleep, they were shocking the heck out of me with electric shocks and playing tapes.
Why are you initiating responsibility? Why
It was really like a concentration camp.
What a torpedo that is.
You want to look this way? You look that way. There's nothing for you to watch here, but you're going to talk to me as we go along.
They couldn't go any further because CI Director Richard Helms destroyed all the CI's MK Ultra documents, and they had to rely on coached witnesses. So they were never able to dig even deeper. What they got was bad enough. It was never terminated. There's no evidence that it was ever terminated. No documents, no nothing, and not even an admission by the CIA that it's been terminated.
How do you feel?
I'm feeling better, thank you.
Feeling better? Are you sleeping well?
Yes, I'm sleeping better now.
We could disable a whole city by putting a very small amount on a water supply. After all of these years of us, those of us who are involved in looking for this secret drug, this was the only thing that began to look for the first time like it might be something like that.
So MK Ultra was one of the hardest programs for me to wrap my head around because it's a lot of subset programs. And I was really surprised that Brad Martin knew about MK Ultra.
People think that research people are crazy for talking about MK Ultra, mind control. Even if they acknowledge that existed, they go, oh, well, that ended in the 70s. That's a crock of shit.
And perhaps the world's only hope of stopping a sinister assassin. Last 200 years.
I mean, at the time, I was making a comedy and I had no idea what I was involved with. But now looking back on the movie, I'm blown away at just the propaganda.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
In a movie like Zoolander, when they're showing you that they're controlling Derek Zoolander's mind through mind control, you realize that they're trying to desensitize you and to make you think that what you're watching is fiction because it's in a comedy.
They have been desensitizing us since we were born. And I'll give you some examples. Let's start with the big one. Let's start with words we hear all the time and never even think about. Let's start with the word entertainment. To entertain. What does that mean? To bind or hold. To bind or hold what? An audience's attention. Okay, now let's take the word Hollywood. Where does that come from? Well, Hollywood comes from the holly tree. And the ancient Druids back in the day used to take the holly tree, make wands to weave spells, cast spells, or channel spells. And when they needed help, they would consult the magi's or the mediums of the day to help channel their spells to the population. We'll cut to today. What do we have in our houses? We have these black boxes. What are they called? TVs. But if you stop and you say the word television, and when you turn on that television, what do you get? What's the first thing that pops up? A list of channels. And when you turn on those channels, what's on those channels? Programming. They are programming you. They've been programming your whole life. You don't even know it. They do it with your music. They do it with your TV. They do it with your movies. They do it with your games. They have been programming us and programming you since you were little, and you don't even know it because you don't even question it.
Starting in 1900, we entered a previously unimaginable time of modern technology. Advances that allowed the rulers of this world to construct and direct our stories in ways we previously never imagined. As a result, new techniques to control the population were realized. These are the people from the companies that we have trusted to deliver us our news and tell our stories. This has always been about controlling what we as the population think and hear. They help create our culture and influence our society. We as citizens only trust them because as a society, we think that the gatekeepers have our best interests in mind.
The dangerous, edges here are that he's trying to undermine the media, trying to make up his own facts. And it could be that while unemployment and the economy worsens, he could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control exactly what people think. And that is our job. That is our job. That is our job. Our job.
As I was researching, I found that most of the early communication companies were developed for shipping or aviation. And a lot of the men that started these companies were commissioned by the military during World War I and World War II. Many of these men worked for the Army and Navy intelligence services, along with the OSS, which we know became the CIA. There were many examples of these men becoming the heads or founders of some of the biggest motion picture and media companies before and after their government or military service. I wanted to know how many of the media companies in today's world connected back to Washington. So I started looking. It was like a family tree. The connections between our government personnel and the media corporations was unbelievable. Google, Amazon, Netflix, Twitter, CNN, ABC. So what would happen if all these companies had the same political ideology or agenda? We as a population like to hear people confirm our confirmation biases. We like to hear people tell us that we're right. We don't like to be wrong. And we believe that the people on the media and the people that we're listening to have our best interests in mind. The problem is what if they don't? So if you stop and think about it, they can place any agenda on the population that they choose.
I think that Hollywood is teaching bad morals to the youth of this country, as well as adults. Desensitizing of violence to the masses. You can't deny that. My kids have seen so many people get killed in very violent ways.
3 times as much gun violence now.
And the sex that's in PG-13 movies.
Why?
Every Disney movie, there's a major character, usually a parent, that gets killed.
I had to tell you, you could not.
Oh, Tony. Not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question. Not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, something called boy love.
Did not make sense. And my first boss there told me that everything that I should get should be checked over.
It made me start thinking about conversations and things I'd heard. But
by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hardworking people. White.
Gulf of Tonkin is another prime example. The commander of the Gulf Fleet in the Gulf of Tonkin, his son was Jim Morrison. They claimed the USS Maddox was attacked by Vietnamese vessels. It was never attacked. As a matter of fact, they put ghost ships on the radar to make it look like they were Vietnamese ships. The Maddox was never attacked. It was an actual, literal false flag to enable the U.S. to declare war on Vietnam. So Jim Morrison.
Yeah, this video deep. So go ahead. Baby, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. We're back. Yo, you see how deep this rabbit hole goes, brothers and sisters? Do you see how deep and how determined these people are on the left-hand side to maintain their power? This has got to stop. That's why I'm glad to see the divine judgment of the Most High in full effect, because these people are stopping at nothing. They really gonna try to battle him, but in doing so, they're gonna. In the meantime, in between time, you see why the Lord had to step up and intervene and stop them. This takes me back to, the Most High having to flood the earth out and destroy it because the minds of the people at that time were to stop at nothing to twist and turn and bend people's minds and people's wills to the satanic lust and desire to stand even against the Lord or be on the level of He. Now you understand why when the Most High made all these rules and guidelines and He put them into effect, now you see why they were put into effect. Because Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry Callahan said, a man has got to know his limitations, but when these people don't know no limitations. And that's a heavy revelation that that video just showed. That just showed you. Yeah, that's right. Yo, Smashing Adam. This is why we do what we do, and we come here and let it all hang out now, because we have to put a stop to this. This is why all of us have to get now more right as best we can. And now you understand why these people have been delving into the dark side energies, trying to come up with a ways and means to maintain their power to the point where they don't want to give back the world to we the children of Israel. That's why the Lord gonna have to come in and take it. This is no time to play. This is no time to pretend that we can't see what's happening. All right, now this assassination of Charlie Kirk. Now we're gonna see. This is gonna only be used as a impetus to try to get at their primary agenda, to try to lock down, most notably, we the children of Israel, and I think their technology to come back and try and knock us out. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Where we at? Okay, where we at, Karima?
We had coffins. No, they brought these in 2022. And then they had a whole bunch of military people come in too. So they were stacking all these coffins.
Yeah, see, also all these store closings in black neighborhoods.
Pulled to the side road, which was a new cut gravel dirt road in front of a business, a builder supply business, actually top-notch builder supply in Madison, Georgia. To my right, this was previously was a soybean field, and this little new cut road divided this field, and the right side of the road was filled with which I thought was portable toilets. I never looked at them that close. Same in color, maybe black, but which was an odd color. And I was sitting there going over my notes, and a van pulled alongside of me that turned out to be the property owner. And he greeted me, and he was by himself. And so we had a good little dialogue there. And I asked him about the field of black boxes. What were they? Because I'd never seen anything like that. And his statement was that if he told me, I would be one of few people in Madison, Georgia that knew about them. And he says they're disposable coffins, I believe he told me. And he says there's 100, at that time, he said there was 125,000 there. They were stacked, he told me, 15 high. I asked him who owned them, and he stated that the CDC owned them and that they were leasing his land for storage. And he said his brother worked with the CDC in Atlanta and had been asked by the CDC to do a 3-year extension to place temporary morgues all across the nation.
So in January of this year, 2005, we decided to drive to beautiful Madison, Georgia, and take a look for ourselves. It was on a Sunday and no one was around, with the exception of this one pickup truck that was coming out the narrow road that we were going in on next to this field. We flagged down the pickup truck, and it was providential that the driver of this pickup truck turned out to be the son of the man that owned this field. So naturally, we started asking him questions. And he told us that not long ago, there had been as many as 500,000 of these grave liners or disposable coffins. We asked him for permission if we could look around, and he said yes, so we did.
We're just getting an idea for the size of these boxes. What could these boxes be used for? Well, they're called casket liners. And that's an interesting term, isn't it? It's a casket liner. When I first heard the term casket liner, I thought perhaps a lining for a casket. But this is too big to be on the inside of a casket. So certainly this could be used as a casket. This is an inexpensive casket. And you can see the size here. There's lots of room. I think my friends here, we could all probably get inside, and it might be a little cozy, but we'd fit just fine. Which tells me that these liners can be used for more than just one. And one more time, what kind of liners are these?
Casket liners.
These are casket liners.
That's what the man said.
That's what the man told us. And we're told that there are about, well, there were about 500,000 out here.
Later.
Yeah, brothers and sisters, this is what they're planning. This is what they're doing while many of us out here sleeping. That's right. I remember seeing this video too, Salah Ben. Yeah, I remember the video. But see, this is why we are on our job. Listen, it's been now a beautiful 3 hours, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to have to, chug it in. In my neck of the woods, about to be soon midnight. But I hope that you've been thoroughly informed and educated. I hope this inspires all of you to get up off your butts, your abacatootskis, your booties, to continue to study and check things out for yourself. And in parting, before we go, Seventh Answer, do you have any parting shots?
Nope, that's it. Hit the like on the way out.
Hit the like, hit the subscribe, share this show, and let everyone know that the Lion's Den is the premier Truthality social media platform on both my YouTube and Facebook side. We thank you for allowing us to come in your mind, soul, and cipher. All right, and you learning something, you just might. This has been another episode of The Conversation Continues, talking about what's on your mind, and then I sign off. In the name of the one true God, Yahweh, and his mighty son Yahweh Shah, I say to this government, let our people go, that we may serve our God. If you don't want to let us go, and you want to hold us, brace yourself for the wrath of the one true God, the true mind controller, maker, and breaker. And so in parting, as always, in the spirit of the soul once known as Don Cornelius, I always say, or we always say, Shalom, peace, Ahab, love, and the Posh, guard and protect your soul. And we are up out of here.
I want you and that young man to tie that knot. I'm gonna pray for you. And I want you to hold on to God's unchanging hand, because he helped Joshua fight the battle of Jericho. Yes.
It's the old
He helped Daniel get out the lion's den. He helped Gilligan get off the island.
Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to the children? Why you lying to the children? RIGHTEOUS. Man, you know I've been to bed. Man, they know they no contest. Yahuwah, he do the bless. We will not see you tomorrow. Cause you cannot go to thought. All the sons and all the daughters. Standing hard with big manodas. But my son, he made me Taurus. On that line, I'm still a Taurus. Karate kicking Chuck Norris, 4-5 on my waist. If he started, will not hesitate to get retarded. Oh lordy, he ain't got a PowerPoint, he farted. He's running to the hills like a Philistine. Jihad hitting Hamites with the guillotine. Situation turned up with the Ratchet team. JJ 7000 to the bait lead. Yeah, I know them haters gon' hate me, but he won't debate me. Pistol off safety. He respond, come wake me. If I don't get up, nigga shake me. If he don't show up, then he fake G. I touch down and make these nigga nuts hate me. Dear brother. Ballin' and crawling all the way from H-Time. Let me get straight to the business. Man, them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children? You gon' cry, you gon' get it. Me, I'm like a frog, nigga, ribbit. Of course, it's in the spirit. I just got the Porsche, she can steer it. Mito got the raw, Shaq and Willie. Lamborghini doors, you better not spill it. Mama's high, say I'm more than just a villain. Mama's cry, arms open wide for her children. Suicide, immortalized as the realest, yeah. Death by Kirk, black suicide. Let me get straight to the business. Got them lions in the building. Why you lying to them children? Why you lying to them children?